The scariest part of OCD is not the thought. It is the moment you start believing the thought is proof that you are a bad person. One image flashes through your mind. One sentence appears out of nowhere. One "what if" lands in your chest so hard that everything inside you freezes. And suddenly, you are not just scared of the thought. You are scared of yourself. You ask, why did I think that? Would a good person have that thought? What if this means something? What if I wanted it, even for a second? From the outside, nothing looks wrong. You may be sitting on a bus, washing a cup, lying in bed, or smiling at someone you love. But inside, a trial has started. At Empty But Aware, we can call this the thought trial. When OCD takes one unwanted thought and turns it into evidence against your entire identity. And the cruel part is this. The more you try to prove you are innocent, the more real the accusation starts to feel. But stay with this, because the thought is not the deepest wound. The deepest wound is what OCD makes you believe about yourself after the thought appears. Most people think OCD means being neat, organized, or obsessed with cleaning. And yes, OCD can involve washing, checking, counting, or repeating rituals. But sometimes OCD is invisible. Sometimes it happens in silence, behind a calm face, inside a mind that will not stop asking for certainty. It can show up as intrusive thoughts about harming someone, even though the idea horrifies you. It can show up as fears about being dishonest, immoral, unsafe, cruel, unlovable, or secretly broken. It can make you replay a conversation for hours, searching for the moment you might have said something wrong. And because the thoughts feel so disturbing, you do not tell people. You hide them. You act normal. Then at night, you search online with shaking hands, hoping one sentence will tell you, "You are not a monster." For a moment, reassurance works. Then OCD whispers, "But what if this time is different?" And the trial begins again. Here's the first twist. OCD often attacks what you value most. If being kind matters to you, OCD may show you thoughts about being cruel. If being honest matters to you, OCD may make you question every word you said. If protecting people matters to you, OCD may make you fear you could somehow hurt them. If love matters to you, OCD may make you question whether your love is real. That is why it feels so personal. OCD does not only create anxiety, it attacks identity. It makes you feel like you have to solve who you are before you are allowed to rest. Imagine you are talking to someone you care about. The room is quiet. Their voice is familiar. Nothing dangerous is happening. Then a thought appears. You did not invite it. You do not want it. But because it feels awful, your brain treats it like a warning. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. Your face stays calm, but inside, you panic. Then the checking begins. Not always with your hands, sometimes with your mind. You replay the moment. You analyze your reaction. You test your feelings. You ask whether you felt scared enough, disgusted enough, guilty enough. And this is where OCD becomes hard to see. It can make rumination look like responsibility. It tells you, a good person would figure this out. It tells you, if you stop thinking about this, it means you do not care. It tells you, if you move on, maybe you are guilty. So you keep thinking, you keep reviewing, you keep searching for the perfect feeling that will finally prove you are safe. But the more you check, the less certain you feel. That is the trap most people misunderstand. Reassurance does not end the trial. It postpones the next hearing. Maybe you ask a friend, do you think I'm a bad person? Maybe you confess something that does not need confessing. Maybe you read the same article again. Maybe you avoid people, places, objects, memories, or conversations because they might trigger the thought. At first, avoidance feels like protection. Later, it quietly takes your life apart. You stop doing ordinary things because your mind turns them into tests. You avoid being alone with someone you love. You avoid sharp objects, roads, pets, children, romantic moments, or social gatherings. Not because you want danger, because you are terrified of uncertainty. And slowly, your world gets smaller. This is one of the quiet costs of untreated OCD. It does not always destroy your life loudly. Sometimes it just steals 10 minutes, then an hour, then a whole evening, then your peace for months. This is why OCD can be so exhausting. You are not lazy. You are not dramatic. You are not weak because you cannot just stop thinking about it. Your mind is stuck in a threat system that keeps misreading thoughts as danger. But let's slow down, because this part matters. A thought is not a confession. A thought is not a desire. A thought is not a secret truth. OCD does the opposite of letting a thought pass. It puts a spotlight on the thought and says, this one matters. This one proves something. This one must be solved before you can be safe. Then, anxiety treats the thought like evidence, and compulsion tries to erase it. But the more you try to erase it, the more your brain learns that the thought must be dangerous, so the loop grows stronger. And this is the second twist. The fear you feel is often connected to your values, not your hidden wishes. If a thought terrifies you because it feels so far from who you want to be, that distress matters. It does not mean you should argue with the thought for hours. It means the thought is hurting you because it clashes with something you care about. OCD wants you to believe fear equals truth. But fear is not always truth. Sometimes fear is just your nervous system ringing the alarm in the wrong room. Many intrusive thoughts in OCD are unwanted, distressing, and opposite to the person's values. They are not chosen. They are not enjoyed. They are not proof of character. They are mental alarms, painful ones, loud ones. But alarms can be false. Healing begins when you stop treating every alarm like a verdict. And that is hard because OCD does not ask calmly. It demands certainty. It says, prove you are good. Prove you are safe. Prove you did not mean it. Prove this thought will never come back. But no human being can live with perfect certainty. The goal is not to make your mind completely silent. The goal is to learn that you can feel uncertainty without obeying it. That is why the right support matters. OCD often needs specific treatment from a trained mental health professional, especially approaches designed for OCD, such as exposure and response prevention. Support can help you face the fear without feeding the compulsion, slowly, safely, and with guidance. But even before therapy begins, one small shift can help. Tonight, if the thought comes back, try not to ask, what does this say about me? Ask instead, is this a real problem to solve? Or is this OCD asking for another trial? Then, choose one ordinary action before answering the fear. Drink water. Stand up. Open the curtains. Send the message. Return to the person in front of you. Let the discomfort be there without making it the boss. But maybe healing is not proving you are good every time OCD accuses you. Maybe healing is learning that you do not have to stand trial for every thought your mind creates. You do not have to punish yourself to prove you have a conscience. You do not have to replay a thought all night to prove you disagree with it. You are allowed to return to your life, not because every doubt is gone, but because doubt does not get to decide whether you deserve peace. Look around. There is still a world outside the thought, the cup on your desk, the sound outside your window, the friend waiting for your reply, the small task you were doing before fear pulled you away. You can come back to that, one breath at a time, one small action at a time, one refusal to enter the trial at a time. You are not your worst thought. You are not the panic that followed it. You are not the hours you lost trying to feel certain. You are a person caught in a painful pattern that can be understood, supported, and treated. And the part of you that wants kindness, safety, honesty, love, and peace is still there. It has been there the whole time. If this made you feel a little less alone, subscribe to Empty But Aware. This is where we turn the quiet, emotional patterns people hide into stories that help them feel understood, gently, honestly, and without shame.